Gamers, it is Saturday, it's 1 p.m. Eastern. I'm here, you're here, someone's here. We're all here. How's it going? My finger's not in my nose, I was scratching right here. Did I fool you? It's called an optical illusion. Have you ever heard of them? That's when the magician takes a hanky and does this. Oh! Holy shit! How does he do it? Oh my god! He's like a maniac! Wow! And for my next trick, I'm gonna crack open this can of gamer juice. Here we go. Yes. Ooh. Hits the spot. Ultra Peachy Keen is 100% the greatest gamer juice flavor. 100%. Gamers, how's it going? I'm here. Baby's down here in her sitting in her little monkey chair, looking at me right now. Are you looking at me? What are you looking at me for? You think it's funny to look at me? Oh, we'll see how funny it is later when you're looking at me and screaming. All right. Working on our game, click and play game, in Windows 98 on the ThinkPad. We're gonna have a heck of a stream today because we need to figure out some math. Doesn't that sound really fun? Doesn't that sound really fun? Yay! Let's just do it. Let's just get this over with. Let's just get this over with. Computer power on. Gonna need some more gamer juice. Oh, Lord. Gamers. I don't know about you, but I've been, like, hankering for a burrito today, and there's nothing I can do about it. Not a goddamn thing.
Ding, 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 ding. Welcome to Windows 98. Why are you still using Windows 98? What is wrong with you? Stop buying computers from thrift stores, man!
Alright, gamers, so time for a little mathematical fun. Whoopee! Let's pop into Click and Play and pick up where we left off. So, first things first, we need to remind ourselves what we're working with. So rather than pop back into the game, we're gonna pop into our little work area here and figure out what did we figure out in terms of the maximum number? Set score to 13 mod 2. Oh right, I was digging around with that. Okay, we need to remember what the maximum number was. So let's pop that. No, not -1. Pop this in. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Let's try to remember what the max score is, because that's going to determine the math we do today. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Can I jam another digit in here, or is that it? Nope. Okay. So the max score we can have is 999,999,999. So I have something open on my computer to convert decimal to binary. So I'm going to type 999,999,999. Converted to binary, it's a 30-digit binary number, but it has ones and zeros in it. We don't want ones and zeros. We need to know what our max is. And if the max is some random combo of ones and zeros, that's not great. We need the max to be a whole line of ones. So 30 digits of ones. Well, 30 digits. So let's do a binary to decimal converter now. And I'm going to type 30 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And I'm going to copy and paste that. So 31s is a 10-digit number, which is too much. Okay, so what about 29 ones? Okay, 29 ones gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 536,870,911, which is just over, it's just close to half of the maximum number we can do, but it's 29 ones, which means those ones can be zeros if we want them to. We're not going into any problems. Now, 29 is an odd number, and that's messy. We want to work with an even number. So, okay, before we continue here, I'm going to give us all a refresher of what we're doing. We're getting ready to start the next level of our game. So far, all of our ideas that we've had have required us to be able to pass information between screens, between frames. Either what items we have, what doors are open, etc., etc. In order to do that, we kind of have to trick Klik and Play, because Klik and Play can't do that natively. You can smuggle through a score and a number of player lives. So let's say we have, I don't want a 1. I want a thicker one. So, say we have a few frames here. 1, 2, 3, okay? The way that this works is the way that Klik and Play works, we're able to go from frame to frame to frame, and the only thing that carries over is lives. Why am I doing this like this? Am I stupid? Excuse me, everyone, am I dumb? I have a computer. Okay. And the only thing that gets to carry over is lives and score. Lives and score will follow us from frame to frame. But that's all that will follow us. There's no other values that can follow us from frame to frame. That sucks. So, the idea is that we can abuse the fact that this isn't just one set, it's times 4, because Klik and Play natively supports up to 4 players. So we can transfer 4 sets of lives and scores from frame to frame. Now, we're already using lives and score from, I want to say player 1 and player 2. That leaves us player 3 and player 4 to play with. So, if we take that 999,999,999 maximum score, we can try to use that value to encode data. Now, the best way to get the most data out of there, obviously the simplest thing to do would be to, for each, digit, we have 0 to 9, and we can store a value of 0 to 9 and pass that data between frames and do what we want with it. Then we only have 9 slots, if you will, of numbers per score. For some things we do, that might be fine. For others, we might want a little more fidelity. So if rather than doing each 0 through 9 digit, if we instead convert that decimal number into binary, which is just zeros and ones, then suddenly we can have, in this case we discovered up to 29 zeros and ones. For the sake of symmetry and evenness, we're going to pluck one of them away and do 28 so we have an even number. So 28 zeros and ones per score. So we need to convert decimal number to binary number. In this case, we're working with, let's open Notepad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. 29 ones. They can all be flipped between ones or zeros. So we can have 29s, 1 or zeros, yes or no's, passing between these frames. We're going to chop one off to turn to 28. So, that number, 28 ones in binary, translates to that number in decimal. So what we need to do is set up Klik and Play to convert between binary and decimal back and forth so that we can pass that around. And that's what we're going to do. Little girl, do you want your pacifier? Do you want this? You can have it. No, don't cry. I'm trying to do math. Don't you know anything? Don't you know anything about math? Math is weird. So. Haha. Now what? Math, yeah, math. So we have to figure out how to do that. Klik and Play can do addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and thankfully modulus, which gives us, I believe, whether or not there's a remainder, or what the remainder is, something like that. It gives us something along those lines, which is what we're going to need to do this math. Little girl, you're just sleepy. Take a nap. Relax. You're a baby. Okay, so. Convert decimal to binary. Let's see. I think you're right, Colonel Panic. Pretty sure you're right. Just need to figure out a good way to present the information to my brain that I can start doing it. So I'm looking on the internet for something good. Okay, so I'm looking at something, some math website for baby children, and they have an example here where they convert the number 174 to binary. And the way they do it is they take 174, they're dividing it by 2, and they're taking the remainder. Wait, I'm really confused. Okay. 174 divided by 2 is 87. Gotcha. So then they're dividing 87 by 2, getting the remainder. That divides into 43. 43 divided by 2 is 21, remainder 1. So basically they're dividing it down until the quotient is 0. That makes sense. Okay, so I'm going to try to replicate what I'm seeing here. Hey, Todd. So, as you can see here, from this example, for math babies, for math baby children who stink and smell, 174 converted into binary. 174 divided by 2, remainder 0, quotient 87. We're going to try to do this in Klik and Play. Let's see. Okay. Little girl, hush, you're a little girl. Little girl, hush, you're a little girl. Okay, so double setup. Binary to decimal. Part 1. Okay, so let's see. Score. The player 3's score. So when we press 1, we're going to set the score to 174. That's 174. That's going to be our initializer. When we press 1, we're initializing this to 174, and I just set the wrong player's score. Let's set this to player 1's score. Because that's what we're actually working with. 174. So now we have to start mimicating the math for babies that I saw in here. So, when I press M for math, we're going to start mathing. Let's see. We're going to need a second value. We're going to need a second place to store the binary. Okay, so let's get a counter, I guess. Numbers. Okay. This value down here is going to be the binary. So, when we press M, we're going to do the first step. We're going to we're going to press M. And something's going to happen. Something's going to happen. Little girl, are you fussing? Cut it out. You are a baby. Take this pacifier and be a little babu. Okay, we need a way to signify that we're doing math. So we're going to I'm going to move this judge on screen when we're doing the math. Press M, which is going to put the judge in the middle of the screen over here. And I'm going to press it. Okay? Yeah, it puts him on screen. Okay, so if position, Y position is greater than 0, and he's on screen, we're going to our score. Okay. Set score to itself well, we need to be able to divide and do modulus, so we're gonna need like a storage slot. So let's use the judge's ultra value A as a storage slot. So I'm going to set ultra value A to player score divided by 2. And then we're going to set ultra value B to the player score mod 2. Okay. So that means value A should be 87, value B should be 0. Then we will, so after that happens, same event, same test event. We're gonna work with these values now. So that value B, that modulus, that should be 0. That's the least significant bit, so it's going to be at the end of our line. So for the binary, we're going to set binary to itself plus the judge's ultra value B times, we're going to use ultra value C for which step of the process we're on. When we press M, we're also going to set ultra value C to 1 on the first digit. So 1 times 0 is 0. 1 times 1 is 1, so that works. So we're setting binary to itself plus the remainder times the step we're on. Warp Track, I know this is going over your head, and I know it's going over your head because it's going over mine, even though I'm staring at the instructions directly. Don't worry about it. You're not alone. Okay. So that happens. Then we're gonna add 1 to alterable value C. Okay. A to score. Okay. Then we're going to set the player's score to the alterable value A of the judge. And finally, a test. If the player's score equals 0, we're going to put the judge off screen. And then reset value C, not that it matters. Okay, that's a big mess. Let's see what happens. I don't think this is going to work the first time. 23. That's not right. I'm pretty sure the number 2 before the number 3 is not a binary number. Okay, so what went wrong? It's B times C. C. Score value of A. Oops, back up. Why did that happen? I'm trying to figure out in my head, why the fuck did that happen? 9, 10. Okay. Okay, let's do this a little differently. Rather than looping through... Oh boy. This is gonna be a thing, isn't it? Okay. So I need to be able to see the work values. So we're gonna bring in 2 more counters here. Not a hidden one. Numbers. Okay, so this is value A. Name, value B. Okay, so rather than trying to run the whole thing at once, we're going to check this step by step. So we're going to change this to only happen once so we can see what happens. Okay, so let's see. What is the... Hold on. I need an always, otherwise I'm not going to be able to see anything. Always set value A to the judge's value A, and value B to the judge's value B. Okay, now let's see if we can figure out what happened here. Okay, I'm going to press M. This top number should become 87, the bottom one should stay 0. Not bad. 87 and 0, so that part is okay. So the first run, the first loop seems okay. So then what's happening? Okay, how about let's set a timer so this happens every 5 seconds, so we can try to watch it step by step. $87, 0. 43, 1. Okay, that's correct. 21, 1. That's correct. Then 10, 1. Okay, the next one should be 5, 0. Yes. Then we should get 2, 1. Yes. And then 1, 0. Yes. And then the last one should be 0, 1. Yes. Okay. So what this means is that the math we're doing at the top for the quotient and the remainder, that's correct. The problem is how we're encoding it into the actual binary that's fucking shit up. That's what's breaking things. Let's see. The binary. We're setting the binary counter to itself plus value B of the judge times value C. Okay, so let's do this. Let's take away the part where we're accumulating it and just look at the result of value B of the judge times value C of the judge, just to see if that's matching what it should be. So this down here should be 0. 0. Next, it should be 10. It's 2. I don't know what's going on. Next step is 2. 1 times 2 is 2. So I'm being stupid, actually. I'm being incredibly dumb. I'm being incredibly stupid. Okay. It shouldn't be 0, 1, 2, 3, blah, blah, blah. It should be 0, 10, 100, 1,000. It should be increasing like that. So how do we do that? Let's see. So 1 times 10 is 10. 10 times 10 is 100. 100 times 10 is 1,000. Okay, so the problem is we shouldn't be adding 1 to alterable value C. It should be... Toby, that's just the cat. Toby sees the cat over, like, by the stairs, and he doesn't understand. What was I doing? Oh, alterable value C. Okay. So rather than adding 1 to value C, what we should be doing is multiplying value C by 10 for every step. It starts at 1, does that. Okay. Let's see. Okay, 7, 0, 0. Then we should get 10. Next one should be like 100. Good. Then 1,000. Now the next one should be 0. Good. And the next one should be 10,000, I believe. 100,000. I'm sure it's right. I'm just stupid. Okay, so let's change this back so we're accumulating again. So value just type it again. Don't be dumb. Okay. Value plus value of B times value of C. Okay. Now let's see if this works. 0, and then we should get 10. No, 0. Now, next one should be 10. Good. Now we should have 110, I think. Yes. And then we should have still 110. Then we should have 10, 1, 1, 1, 0, 10, 1, 1, 1, 0. And then the final number should be 10, 10, 1, 1, 1, 0. 10, 10, 1, 1, 1. Bam. We just converted decimal to binary. You're still not sure what we're trying to achieve here? I'm trying to cram data into a decimal. Ones and zeros. Ones and zeros can be interpreted as on or off, yes or no, etc., etc., etc. If we can cram a whole bunch of these, the ones and zeros, into a decimal number, then we have a lot of shit to work with. So I'm going to move the numbers over here. And what number did we decide on again? Okay, so I'm going to change, right now we're doing 174. We're going to change 174 to 268,435,455. We're going to change this every 5 seconds to every 1 second, just to speed things up. 2 seconds? 1 second. Like that. Okay. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. What? Oh, right. The maximum. That's a good point. Okay, this is a valid point. This is a valid point. It jumped, we hit the max that we can hold in one counter, so that shouldn't be a problem. What we can do is, as we're doing the math, because at the end of the day, we're going to be storing all this as their own values, ones and zeros. So we don't have to show it here in that number. We need to show it in the actual use we're going to have for it. So, now that we know the math, let's do this. That's a really shitty number 1. It's still a really shitty number. Okay, so, for example, value 1. One, 0, 1. I don't know why I went to the trouble of setting that up, because I'm not going to sit here and make 28 of these, but we can take each step of the process, store that value somewhere else. This is just as confusing for you as it is for me, but in my head I kind of have an idea of what we're doing. Like, I kind of understand it, so I think we can get through this, so... Okay, let's turn this into a 0. We're going to do this a little differently. Value. Okay, so... 1... Oh, take me back to my step. So 1... 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 times 2 is 28, right? I'm not stupid. I mean, I know I'm stupid, but, you know. So we would have all of these. We need to be able to transfer the value of these between frames. Can you detect if you click on like a number? No, just okay. No. 0, 32. I'm half tempted to set this up so we can kind of test it. Like, click on each of these and pass the number back and forth, but that's going to be a huge pain. Actually, let's kill this. Okay, these are temp values, we don't need them. Both the same counter. Counter 1. Do another counter super quick. That's a score. We don't need that. Counter 2. Counter 1. Counter 2. Okay, so the idea is we'll have to set up... Okay, there's going to be 28 counters. Okay, this is per score. There's going to be 28 counters to store the ones and zeros. That we're working with. Counter 4. 3, 4. You just go, oops. Click on something I didn't want to click on. I clicked on a bad thing. Okay, let's see. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so for example, go back to our example that we did initially. Five. 6. 7. 8. 'Alternate value C was only being used when we were storing it in a decimal. When we were storing it in that counter. If we're not doing that, that's less important. Let's go back to adding 1. Up here. Cat's harassing everybody. One painful thing is we're gonna have a block of events that So right now I have 8 counters. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, blah, blah. Technically, if we do it this way, we would end up with 28 counters per score sitting up here on their own. 28 of them. If we use both player 3 and player 4's score, we're going to have 28 twice. All just sitting up here, which is not ideal. But Click and Play doesn't really have a good way to store a lot of values like that. You can't do an array or nothing like that in here. I think of what the best way to do this is. I'm not sure if there is a good way to do this. It's just going to be a lot of kind of tedious code. can just do this chunk real quick just for testing purposes. So then theoretically, I should get. Oop, hold on. Changes back to 174. I should get stored up at the top now, theoretically. 1010110. Yep, it all got stored at the top. And it goes up there. Okay. Okay. Okay, so that's taking from decimal to binary. Now we have to go in the other direction. Binary to decimal. So that we can get ready to transfer between frames. Boy. So that would be oh Lord. Starting with the most significant bit, multiplying it by 2 to the 0 power, then we move to the next one, 2 to the 1 power, next one 2 to the 2 power, etc., etc., etc. Lord. Unfun math. Very unfun math. I mean, thankfully, it's basically the same every time. So the most significant digit times 1, next is times 2, next is times 4, next is times 8, next is times 16. So we could just kind of hard code that in. Oh boy. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. If each of the numbers, of each of the binary bits we use, has its own counter, I mean 28 per score that we're converting. If instead of using counters, okay, so let's go back and look at the plan again. So the concept that I had in mind, at least, for the idea we had in terms of the actual game, at least that seemed to have the most traction, was we were going to do something like a Zelda dungeon where we were playing as Homer and Bart for some reason. I don't know why you guys wanted that, but the idea was like a single dungeon playing as Homer and Bart. So the data that needed to pass from frame to frame was okay. So the important things in these dungeon screens are two things here. It's an item. That's a little treasure chest. So a frame can have an item that you can collect, and that could be like a key, a boss key, a compass, a hook shot, whatever. Because you don't expect to leave a room, come back, and then there's another key there. That'll be a problem. So, an item. And let's say each room can potentially have one locked door. And obviously, if you unlock a door, you use a key. You don't want to exit, come back, and see that the door is locked again. So, basically, any room in this dungeon that we want to have either an item or a locked door in it is going to reserve 2 of our binary bits. So if one piece of our score can hold 28 bits, divide that by 2, we could have like 14 rooms in the dungeon that have an item and a locked door. And that does sound like plenty to me, you know? Because not every room in our dungeon is going to have an item or a locked door. So that would be 14 pairs of 2 binary bits. So rather than storing these bits all as individual counters, we could kind of double them up, use active objects instead, and have these pairs of bits, item and whether the door is locked, be stored in inactive objects, alterable value A and alterable value B. So rather than having 28 counters for one score, we would have 14 active objects for one score. We're just gonna free up half of our shit. Can you believe we've spent almost an hour on this so far? I mean, granted, we got the conversion working one way, you know? Bam, 174 in binaries, there's that number up there. It's just a matter of putting it into code now. Now, here's the thing, once it's put into code, I mean, that's it for digging around with the math. We can just take it with us and we're good. Just a matter of getting it done. Tell you what. think the proof of concept is working. Proof of concept is working. Okay. Let me try something. Can I import a level from another game? Here's Happy Weed. That's Happy Weed right there. It's Happy Weed. Back to the storyboard. Add new level of the game, add new picture, add new animation from the game. File. As far as I know, you can't import a level from another game, so really at this point we should be working within our actual game. Otherwise we're going to be wasting time. Is this our stage? It is. Okay, so. This is gonna be our. Oh, that looks like balls. Decimal to binary controller block. Just going to hold some of the values we're using. Okay. Then we're going to need some of the active objects that we're going to use to hold the values. So, what am I doing? What am I doing? What the fuck am I doing? I'm blanking when I want to draw here. This is going to be one of the active objects that holds the pairs of binary numbers. Alright, let's just put a 1 on it. Who cares? Not that big of a deal. Doesn't even have to look good. Okay. Pair 1. Pair 2. We should probably be sorting these right to left, just because of that's how the what do you call it? The bits and stuff are going to work, I think. We'll do it anyway. Who cares? Okay. Pair 3. Little girl, you wake up from your nap? Are you trying to say things to me down there? Pair 3. 28. We need 14 of these. enough. Ooh, boy. 1, 2, 3, 4. And just keep it rolling. So, I think that's the wrong color. So this is old news, I know, but I was thinking about some of the Windows stuff that Microsoft has been announcing in terms of how they want new versions of Windows to be able to like use AI to keep snapshots of exactly what you were doing on your computer, going back in time in like a time machine. And it's like, I don't want my computer to keep track of a log of what I've been doing for any reason whatsoever, unless I tell it to. You know? And like, Microsoft's just been getting worse and worse about forcing shit on us. Like, nowadays, it's a huge pain in the ass to even log into your machine for the first time without using a Microsoft account to make you jump through hoops if you want to set up a local account and not use a Microsoft account. What is that, 90s UI? This is Windows 11. No, this is Windows 98 second edition. So yeah, so Microsoft's been making it harder and harder to not use their shit. Like, it's a pain in the ass to not use a Microsoft account to log into the computer. Obviously, they want to push now this time machine thing on your computer where it's keeping track of what you were doing. You upset down there? Relax. And it's like, it's making me think, like, if in the future, when it's time to get a new computer, can I really justify buying whatever new version of Windows is out there? Like, I'm using Windows 10 right now on my machine. I have no desire to go to 8. 10 is working fine for now. But, like, in the future, 10 isn't always gonna be, you know, suitable. Little girl, you are awake down there, aren't you? Like, 10 isn't going to be usable forever with new hardware and everything. So if you want to avoid this annoying crap that Microsoft is doing, it's like, what can you do? You could not use Windows. That's always an option. Now, what are the alternatives? First alternative is obviously Mac. But let's be honest, Mac is just another big company. Apple's just another big company that's just as likely to push this, you know, draconian, like, Big Brother shit on you just as much as Microsoft is. I mean, I already use an iPhone, so it's, in a way, it's kind of like, I guess, whatever. They already have my stuff, but I don't know. It's like, if I'm upset about Microsoft doing this, it's kind of silly to consider Apple as an alternative, because they're just as likely to do the same thing down the line. Just as likely. So they're not really an option as an alternative. The next option is, of course, Linux, which, you know, that's guaranteed to not have this tracking crap on your machine. The problem at that point is compatibility and usability. So like, I'm drinking 9. The vast majority of the stuff I do, I could do just fine on Linux, you know? Install a web browser. Install a web browser. and you're good. Vast majority of games nowadays, thanks to Valve and the Steam Deck, you know, has really good support through Wine that'll let you, you know, kind of just run it. Not really emulate it, but you know what I mean. And a lot of games will more or less work that way. So in terms of basic web usage and games, Linux would probably work fine. So I stream. So OBS, of course, has Linux versions, so that's fine. But then we start getting to some of the nitty-gritty of the stuff that I use, like... So, small annoyance, small thing that I use, you know, my webcam, I don't have a green screen. I'm using NVIDIA Broadcast to remove the background here. Just with that program. NVIDIA Broadcast does not have a Linux version, so I would need to find an alternative software for that. Not a big deal. There's a lot of software nowadays that removes the background from a webcam image. That is not a huge deal. That's pretty simple. You were just so talky down there. You think I'm talking to you? You don't know what a computer is? You're an idiot. Ridiculous. So yeah, I could probably find alternate software that'll remove the background from webcam image. Little girl, I didn't mean it. You're not really an idiot. Don't cry. Here, put this pacifier down. So yeah, no big deal. I could find an alternative. The bigger problem for me is when I upload my streams to YouTube, I first process the video a bit in Adobe Premiere. There ain't no Linux versions of Adobe creative products. There's not. So I could, and I use, now granted, I don't use like hotshot brand new Adobe products. On my machine, I have Photoshop and Premiere CS. I have Adobe Photoshop CS 5.1 and Premiere Pro CS 5.5. So granted, I'm not using super new shit. So maybe that old version of Premiere, quote unquote old, could also work through Wine? Maybe? Possibly? Maybe? But I don't know how well it would work, how reliably it would work. So then you have to consider alternatives like DaVinci Resolve, like you're saying, Volpo and WarpDrag is apparently a popular one. I hate the idea of having to relearn editing software. I hate that idea, because I'm comfortable with this. 14 pairs. I despise that idea. But I guess it's not a big deal. The other option, the other Adobe program I use, like I said, is Photoshop. And people say, you know, GIMP. But GIMP blows ass. GIMP is a piece of shit. GIMP is fucking garbage. GIMP is not a replacement for Photoshop. So, like I'm saying, I could try to run Photoshop CS 5.1 through Wine or something and see if it works well enough. But who knows? The alternative, of course, is running a Windows virtual machine inside of Linux just for the Adobe apps. But at that point, it's like, why did you bother to do all this? You're still running Windows at the end anyway. You're still running Windows. What if it's a cracked version of Windows? Great, give all my data to the Russians and the Chinese. That doesn't help. Player 3. Need a player 3 object here so we can actually access his stuff. Okay, and this will be 8 direction with no speed, no acceleration, max deceleration, not moving at start. And it's moved by player 3. Okay. So yeah, so that's my main concern with the future of computer for me. It's like, it's almost like they've purposely done this, where it's like it's too much of a pain to switch away from Windows to make it worthwhile. Okay, so this is player 3's score. Let's get some kind of debug numbers here. Counter 1 and counter 2. So yeah, I don't know. Thankfully, it's not a worry right now because my computer does just fine for what I need it. So I'm not going to worry about switching right now, but in the future, it's something I'm going to have to consider.
Little girl, are you being crazy? Are you insane? Wow, you're crazy!
Okay, let's add a little object here that we can use for things. Wow, you're just all sorts of squealing today, aren't you? Let's make this a little bigger. You're just all sorts of squealing over there, aren't you? Just a quick cursor object that we can use while we're kind of working on this. Always event in here.
Wow!
Little girl, you're completely ridiculous. How can you be like this? How can you be like this? Okay, so let's save, and then that cursor object should follow our mouse around. But yeah, a lot of this could just be me, you know, getting annoyed about nothing. Because at the end of the day, like I said, I have an iPhone. I'm not going to switch away from iPhone. Even if I switched away from iPhone to Android, guess what? That's Google. Google's going to be tracking my information anyway. So if I go full, Linux schizo on my PC, the data's getting taken from me anyway through my phone. So maybe it's not even worth worrying about, you know? Okay, there we go. Our little cursor object. Little red dot is following our cursor around. Little girl, you're ridiculous! Wow. Okay, so when you're overlapping one, just kind of realizing how much of a pain this is going to be. What I was about to do is I was about to set up this debug thing where I've dragged this little cursor over each of our pairs, and then it's going to show its value up here in the top left corner, but I'm realizing I'm going to have to, like, pop events in here for each of them in order to make that happen. Which is annoying. Really annoying. But I need to be able to see what's happening. Oh god, this is going to be a huge, annoying thing. Here's the thing, in order to make sure this is working, we have to go through the annoyance of all the shit we're doing. And that blows. Otherwise, how are we going to know if we're doing this right? If we run into a bug later down the line and it turns out we screwed up the binary to decimal or decimal to binary conversion, it's going to suck to try to fix that. So in a way, it's almost worth doing this tedious work we're doing right now just to make sure it's going to work correctly. But boy, is it unfun. I am half tempted to actually do this work off screen. Like during the week. Just whip this laptop out and sit here and go through the huge pain in the ass of setting this up. How much is left? I need to set up a way to just make sure I can see the values of each of our pairs, and then I have to do the math to convert it to decimal, and then we have to see if it goes to the other side. It's just a big messy thing. Tell you what. This little girl's gonna start to fuss. I need to see that she has a bottle ready to go. So, give me a few minutes. I need to make sure that she's got a bottle. I'll be right back. It's bottle time, gamers. But yeah, that was on my mind recently, the whole Windows thing. On the same note, as the Windows thing, Google is starting the process of phasing out what's known as Manifest version 2 extensions for Google Chrome. No, what that is that's the system that a lot of extensions use through Google Chrome to change things. For example, uBlock Origin uses Manifest version 2 in order to block ads on everything, including YouTube. So Google obviously doesn't want people blocking ads on YouTube. So they're trying to get rid of Manifest version 2 and push out Manifest version 3, which more severely restricts what you can do with extensions. So they're trying to curb stomp out extensions like uBlock Origin being able to block their ads, by crippling what they can do. Does that affect Chromium-based browsers? I have no idea. But they're starting to do it on Chrome. So, I mean, thankfully that's easier to deal with than the whole Windows thing. I guess I can switch to Firefox and see if Firefox will continue to support that for the near future. Because here's the thing, I'm never giving Google subscription money to take ads off of YouTube. Like, I'm not fucking doing that. The garbage trash ads they push on me, like, it's disgusting. I'm not paying you money for this. I'd rather YouTube burn to the ground and go bankrupt than give them a single cent and watch without ads. So I'm probably going to try using Firefox soon. hope that they continue to support those extensions. Like on my phone, on my iPhone, I have a modified YouTube app side-loaded onto it that has ad blocking built in, so I can just watch whatever video I want and never have to deal with ads on my iPhone. But sometimes when I want to watch a YouTube video without it being consumed by YouTube's algorithm, and then suddenly I'm getting 20 recommendations for Family Guy funny moments on my homepage, rather than watching it in the YouTube app, I'll go watch it signed out like in the browser on the YouTube website. And in there, on the browser on my phone, without any sort of ad block, I can see how the ads on YouTube work, and they're revolting. You get like 2 of them at a time. They're extremely long. They pop up on some videos every few minutes. Like, it's not a good experience in any way. Like, I practically consider it unwatchable, YouTube without an ad blocker. It's horrible. And yeah, that's one of the reasons I don't watch YouTube on my TV, because obviously the ad blocker's not going to work there. So unless I want to do some annoying crap and like hook up a computer to my TV, I'm probably not going to be watching YouTube on my TV, because I'll have to sit there and stomach 12 trillion ads. And clearly the ads are just for Google. They aren't doing anything for the creators, because creators nowadays have to always pick up sponsorships built into their videos to make any money off of their content. But it's all just YouTube greed. And I get it, it costs a shit ton of money to run a video service that hosts every video on the internet. But you know what? You're Google. You signed up for it. Hold on. But yeah, YouTube without an ad block is a non-starter. And I'm not giving them money. With the shit job they do moderating YouTube, with the amount of algorithm crap, with like the amount of like child destroying like YouTube children finger family garbage that's on there, Google don't deserve a penny from me. You're making a mess. She keeps dripping milk out of her mouth like some kind of little dope. You little dope? Still a little milk here if you want it. If you'll stop dripping it out of your mouth. Want a little more milk? Come on. You're almost there. You're almost there. Just polish off that bottle. There you go. Alright. I mean, you got most of it on your chin, but it's not in the bottle, and that's all that counts. Alright. You got any burps? Alright, and I usually, like, to be honest, I'm pretty tolerant of the sponsorships that good burp. That YouTubers do, where they, they plug whatever service is sponsoring them for the video. It's usually just a few seconds out of the video and then they continue. I get annoying when it takes up more than a few seconds, but whatever. I prefer when they do something interesting and entertaining with it. Like, some of them will just do, like, you know, a script read with a pre-recorded video. Bye, Spooky, thanks for joining us. Some of them will just do a script read with a pre-recorded video. You know, commercial from them, and it's boring as hell. I like when YouTubers get creative with it, and they do stupid crap with it. Like, I don't know if you've ever watched Brutal Moose, but when he does the sponsored HelloFresh sponsor, he does the most obscene crap with the sponsorship part, and it's interesting, it's entertaining, so it's pretty good. But the YouTube app I have sideloaded on my phone, in addition to ad blocker, it includes, you know, sponsor block, which skips over some of those segments. And ever since, you know, getting used to that, it's like I've started to... if I know the guy I'm watching plugs the sponsor in the boring, dry way, where they just read the script, I skip over that part. So I hope their payout doesn't count on that part of the video being watched. Are there any sponsor stuff I've actually bought? No. I've never watched a YouTube video that was sponsored by something and then went out and purchased the product. No. I've not. I really can't say I have. I assume they get paid by clicks, by people clicking through to whatever they're sponsoring. But I don't know how that works. I don't know if that works at all. But here's the thing: if Manscaped wants to give, you know, these people like a few $100 so they can make a video about can you beat Morrowind by only walking backwards, sure. Keep wasting your company's money on these YouTubers. As long as I get to keep watching their videos, I don't care. Throw your ball shaving money into this sinkhole of YouTubers. Go ahead. Like the last Manscaped sponsorship video I saw, the person they sponsored literally has alopecia. They don't have a hair in their body, but they were sponsored by Manscaped. Okay, Manscaped. Alright. You made a great choice there. Lord. Okay, so I think this is going to be my plan for this. So before we can start working on this, the Homer and Bart, boy and son, dungeon crawl level, this system to smuggle data between frames needs to be completed. Oh, Cinco's ordering us pizza for dinner. Okay, so this system to smuggle data between frames needs to be completed. Any kind of work on this is going to be extremely tedious and annoying. Now, as some of you will remember, we also had a tedious and annoying requirement to get the Spider-Man stage done because I needed to be able to calculate sine and cosine. And I ended up doing all that work off screen to figure out a way to calculate sine and cosine within Klik and Play. So I think I'm basically going to do the same thing. I think what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to take this laptop with me, like, down to where I'm working, and just set the system up so it's working and we're able to pass the data between frames. I figured the 14 pairs should be plenty. If our dungeon ends up needing more than 14 rooms that have an item or a locked door in it, then we've designed a bad dungeon. Like, how many Zelda dungeons have more than 14 keys? None of them. So I figure I'll set it up so we have that one score available for this. And then if we want to... Okay, so between frames, we also want to pass how many hearts or health our character has. But we're already taking care of that. We're doing the same way we are in the other stages with the lives and score. So lives and health gets passed along. We're going to want to store which items we're holding. So I figure we can use player 4's score to hold an item inventory. Or not even necessarily, because here's the thing. Each of these pairs is going to correspond to a specific room. Any specific room is going to only have a specific item in it. So if I want to keep track as to whether or not the player has the hook shot, for example, I just have to look at the value for the room that holds the hook shot and see if it's a 1. So that should be fine. What I think we should do is for any item that normally has ammo, for example, the bow and arrow, bombs, etc., rather than having ammo and thus needing to keep track of another value, let's just make it something so you use it and there's a cooldown. So you can throw a bomb and then you have like a cooldown of like 5 seconds before you can throw another bomb. Bless you. So like you can shoot an arrow, whatever the arrow ends up being, and you have to wait like 5 seconds before you can shoot another arrow. That way you can't spam it like you have infinite, but you still have infinite. That way we don't have to track ammo. And then of course we need to be able to keep track of, one thing we can't skimp on is we have to keep track of how many keys we have. So we can end up using either player 4's lives or score or whatever to keep track of how many keys we have. So theoretically this is the hardest part, and once I'm done with this we can start doing some work. Okay, I'm liking some of the ideas you're throwing at me in terms of the Homer and Bart Simpson swapping. Homer can be the tank, Bart can be weak. Homer can carry barrels faster, Bart can cartwheel jump. That's Donkey Kong. Yeah, so we'll work out a simple player swap thing. I figure the players can follow each other around like Donkey Kong Country, and you can like tag between them to use their abilities. Now, one important thing to consider. So here's the thing. You gotta remember, each individual frame has its own set of code. So we have to figure out which items, usable items we're gonna have at the beginning, do all the code for the items. So we're ready to copy it along, so we don't have to copy it back to these other frames. So we're gonna have to figure out abilities and items as one of the first things, so we can have the code done, and then start working. We're gonna have to figure out those abilities and items. We're gonna have to figure out the enemy types. Basically, we want to get as much of the code parts done. Because because think about this, in the previous stages, everything was linear. So, Goku stages started out simple. Enemies you punch, items you pick up. Then it starts picking up later, where you have like locked doors. Woody Woodpecker can steal your beer. There's Monica trying to kill you, and there's soccer goals. We were able to do that because the game progressed in one direction. We could add new features to later frames, and it wouldn't matter that they weren't available in the previous frames. But if we're going to design a Zelda dungeon where you can backtrack, that's going to mean any feature you add in one part of the dungeon will theoretically need to be accessible in another part of the dungeon. Otherwise it's going to get weird. So we need to make sure we have as many of the gimmicks programmed in as we can at the very start, because having to add them to each frame after is going to be a huge pain. So we have to consider that. So with that in mind, we have to consider, okay, Homer and Bart, we're pretty sure are going to be the main characters. What is the location of this dungeon going to be? Who are the enemies going to be? What are the items going to be? We have to start working on that. So we gotta work on getting all that and kind of go in the beginning. So we don't have to make it too complicated. Like, when you think about it, any one dungeon in Zelda only has a handful of enemies. So really we just have to plan that out at the beginning, you know. Simple, little kind of filler enemies. More difficult enemies, you know, like equivalent of like Stalfos and stuff. You know, Wizrobe equivalents. You know, if we want something like a Deku Shrub. She's squeaking. She's squealing. She's staring directly at the laptop screen where we have the Goku stage open. She's looking directly at it and she's squeaking at it. She really likes the Goku stage. Little girl, do you want to see it in motion? You want to see it move around? Do you like that? You like that they're moving around? Do you like Brazil? Do you want to come to Brazil? She likes it. Yeah, so we want all that kind of simple stuff programmed. We want the items programmed ahead of time. I figure any Zelda dungeon normally only has one item. I figure since it's going to be one dungeon, a single dungeon, we could probably, you know, budget for more than one item, since it's going to be one dungeon, that's it. So I figure we'll code in bombs, we'll code in a bow and arrow equivalent, we'll code in a hookshot equivalent. Like, maybe even you can come into the dungeon already holding bombs and bow and arrow. And then the dungeon item, quote-unquote, would be like the hookshot or something. So we want to set up with some basics. But we want to make sure we have that in at the beginning, so we don't end up having to go back and add code into individual stages. Let's this little girl. Let's right now decide on purpose. Okay, you know how in like you know how in Link's Awakening and in A Link to the Past, some of the dungeons will do the thing where there's two layers and you can like go up and down stairs and like jump off of ledges? Let's decide right now to not do that for the sake of simplicity. Let's avoid trying to do the 2-layer per room kind of like illusion. That way we don't have to... You little squealer. That way we don't have to worry about that. So let's try to simplify it a bit. Keep it more flat, like the Zelda 1 dungeons. Oh, she's having a great time. She's just watching these little soccer boys walk around. This girl's ridiculous. Okay, I figure if at some point in the dungeon design we decide that we need to have like a 2-layer illusion, let's not let it end up being something where you can jump down from the layer. Let's have it more or less just be walled off stuff. So once we have the items planned out, once we have all the items and enemies planned out, we should probably also kind of plan out the general layout of the dungeon, so that we're not, once again, going back and adding stuff to frames to make it all work. So basically, to do this, we're going to have to do a lot of pre-planning and getting stuff done ahead of time before we actually start building the dungeon out. So we have to be ready to do that next Saturday. In addition to that, I want us to think up, is it going to be grid-based? More or less. A little bit. It's going to be... I think it's going to be pretty similar to what we did with the Goku stages, where we kind of have stuff laid out. As long as it all fits on one frame per block, it'll be fine. Yeah. So next Saturday, you know, think of some item ideas, simple item ideas. more importantly than that, we need to decide on a location. You know, where is this dungeon going to take place? And who are the enemies going to be? Those are pretty important, because, you know, we're going to be coding all this stuff, and we need to be ready. Colonel Panic, that's a pretty good idea. A virtual Bart wheel spin that is rigged to always select the RPG. That's a really good idea. I kind of like that. Well, we'll tell you what. We have the, we already have here the placeholder cutscene transition. So so that would fit perfectly in here, and part of this cutscene for level 4 to 5 transition, you know? That would make sense to use for there. So that's not a bad idea, honestly. I like that. That's a good idea. But yeah, most important thing is we need to... This is a... Hat's falling off. We need to have this planned out, because otherwise it's going to be a huge pain in the ass just because of how backtracking it's going to be. How do I wear a headset without dropping my child on the floor? There we go. You know, it seems like we got very little done today, but honestly, we worked out one direction of the binary to... of the decimal to binary conversion. We worked out the decimal to binary part. Now I just gotta set up the binary to decimal part for the other side, and then we should be good. Which is something I'm gonna do in my... I'm gonna try my best to do it between today and next Saturday. It's gonna be tricky because I'm watching the baby and working, and I'm working on another project on the side as well. But I'm gonna try to do it so that we can have it ready. Why is our battery at 98%? We didn't use any of the battery. That's weird. How did this happen? Little girl, you're fussing. You just had your bottle, no fussing. Here, have a sit. Baby, 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 baby. Baby, 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 baby. Baby, 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 baby. I know, you're a baby. I know. I know you're a baby. Yes, you are. I know, you are just an infant. You are a little bambino. You're a little bambina. Okay. You done fussing? Gamers, I don't think we're getting anything else done today in the last 10 minutes of the stream, to be honest. I don't think we are. She's throwing a fit, and without the decimal to binary, like, what can we do? Play croc with one hand? I don't know if I can.
Holy crap! Holy crap!
Can we still make funny ideas? I mean, yeah, throw ideas at me. Why not? Just throw them. Throw the ideas. Don't put your hand in my mouth. Shh. It's okay. You're a little one. Please be quiet. No! 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 Oh! I don't know what she thinks of this. I don't know what she thought of that. Little girl, what did you think of that? Did you enjoy that, or was it just weird? Did you enjoy that, or was it just weird? No, don't cry. That's not a response. No. No. Here, no, it's fine. Little girl, wait, do you want to see the croc demo? Maybe you'll like it. Maybe you'll like the croc demo. Wait, enjoy the croc demo. Look, there he is. That's Croc. See, it's Croc. Do you like it? You like it? You like it. She likes it. She likes Croc. There we go. Oh, she doesn't like Croc anymore. Quick, start the demo. Quick. No, look, see, it's Croc. See, it's moving around. No, look, it's Croc. Look at it. You don't have to cry. It's Croc. It's Croc. He's only dying a little bit. Can I make him kersplat? How do I make him kersplat? Yazoo! Kazoom! Yazoo! Kazam! Wahey! Yazoo! God, I hate Croc. Does anyone actually like Croc? Like, there's people who ironically like Gex, and there's people who unironically like Gex. Is there anyone who ironically or unironically likes Croc? Like, anyone at all? Little girl, please, I'm trying to show you Croc so that you can be happy. Please stop crying. You're just a little baby. Please stop crying. Croc is dead. Thanks for playing the Croc demo. Please try again, you big drip. Big smelly fart. I had something else on here. That's Jazz 1, I want to play that. Little girl, calm down, please, I love you! No! Little girl, do you like Outlook Express? Little girl, do you like Outlook Express? Look, you can send emails. You can send emails, little girl. It's fine. See? You can send an email. You can send emails. Look, you can send emails. You can send email. You can send it. Please send the email. Please do. Please. Did you poop? It doesn't smell like poop. I don't think she pooped. Ba 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 ba. Mwah. Down. Up. Ba 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 ba. Mwah. Down you go. Down you go. Up. Ba 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 ba. Mwah. Down you go. Down you go. Up. Ba ba boo bee da ba dum. Yeah. I think she likes this. See, this is game development. I'm developing a game for her. This is technically game development. This is technically game development. I'm developing a game to play with my child. Is this not a game? This is technically a game. You can't say it's not a game. It is a game. You even know what a game is? I don't think you know what a game is. Baby. Gamers, real quick, in these last few minutes here, I just wanted to once again thank you guys for tuning into these streams. Like, I full well recognize that the streams are a little difficult because I need to watch my baby these days. And it's going to be a little difficult for a while. But I appreciate those of you who showed up. You know, my viewership ain't growing. This is what I got. So I appreciate having you guys here. This is basically my only hobby. This is what I do. Like, what would I do if I didn't do this? Would I play video games, like, in my free time? That's absurd. That's silly. I'd probably just find excuses to eat Taco Bell every day, and that would be my hobby. And that's not a very good hobby. Bye, Jim Sticky. Thanks for joining us. So, yeah. So thank you, I do appreciate this a lot. That you tune in for this nonsense week after week. Thank you very much. I hope Cinco bought a good pizza for us. I hope she got a crab pizza. And it's just a pizza with, like, whole crabs on it, shell and everything. Yeah, I hope that's what it is. A living crab. You just open the pizza box, and there's just a living blue crab in there, and that's all that's in the box. Just that crab. Not even like a half dozen. It's just one crab. That'd be a great treat. A good, great treat. There's worse things to find in a pizza box. Lots of worse things you could find in a pizza box. You can open the pizza box, and then there's like Cyberpunk 2077 in there. Like, that would stink. That would suck. Nobody would want that. Not a soul. No, don't pull my headphones. I have to turn off my computer.
Goodbye, stupid. We've had a lot of fun on your crappy computer. Please don't ever come back.
There we go. Alright, gamers, as I said, thanks for joining us. Thanks for tuning in. Tune in Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern for an hour-long mini-stream playing more of The Sims 2. Tune in Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern for some more Secret of Monkey Island. And then tune in next Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern when hopefully I have the decimal to binary system worked out and we can actually start working on this level. Now, if you excuse me, this little girl has tired of the game I worked so hard at thinking up for her, and now she's going to scream anyway, so I'm going to go flush her down the toilet. Come with me, you will like being flushed down the toilet. Thanks for watching. Please be decent to people.